Island, and what a magnificent sight it is. Conditions a little bit cloudy today, but the action is very, very hot here at a newly resurfaced 4.45 kilometre facility just on the west coast of Victoria, and we are getting ready for Supersport, Michelin Supersport race number 1. Steve, the field has changed up so much this year with riders coming back from Superbike, riders coming back from overseas, and riders stepping up from the Supersport 300, including last year's 300 champion, Marcus Hammond. It's going to be a magnificent year of Supersport racing. We thought last year was good. This year's going to be even better.
Yeah, it's going to be an invigorating field for sure out there, and a lot of excitement. And we don't know what to expect. I mean, there's just so much going on out in that field, as you say, Phil. Who knows what could happen? Could it be Marcus Kyoto? The Honda is back in the field as well. So really looking forward to that.
The iconic Phillip Island circuit, one of the greatest racetracks in the world, and it's put on some of the most spectacular motorcycle racing we've ever seen. There's a few places to be fast on the last lap because the races are so close and you want to get that edge over your opponent. One of them is into turn 4, the old Honda corner, now named Miller Corner. Perfect place to put a passing move on your opponent. Another place, or probably the most important place to be fast on the last lap, is this last turn, turn 12. It is so fast around Phillip Island here through the middle of this corner. You accelerate out, it's a little bit blind, and you crest the hill and reach 300 kilometres an hour or more by the time you get to the finish line, because there's a long way down there. So do you want to be leading your opponent out of this corner, or do you want to be the rider behind in the slipstream and use that draft to accelerate past them?
Michelin Supersport riders are making their way round to the grid now, and this is how they will start. On the first row of the grid, we have the pole man, his first ever pole position for Jonathan Marlos. Tom Bramage and Ollie Simpson will join him on the front row of the grid.
Row 2, Mark Kyoto, Jack Mahaffey and Hayden Nelson.
Row 3, Crazy Jake Farnsworth, Declan Van Rosmalen, fresh from a season of racing in New Zealand in summer, and Corey Turner, multiple Australian sidecar champion, back on 2 wheels. Look out for bike number 52.
Yeah, good result from him there too. Good qualifying from him. Marcus Hammond making his debut in the class. Archie McDonald and Corey Snowsill start out of row 4.
Yeah, Corey Snowsill back after about a 10-year break. Zach Johnson's also back after a little bit of a break. Scotty Nicholson's a regular in this class, and Jacob Hatch is back from the UK. They're all on row 5.
Jack Mavell, Luke Sanders out of 17th, the local boy, and John Quinn in 18th.
Brandon Demery stepping up from Supersport 300. Brendan Wilson and Noel Mann will continue their battle, the good mates there on row 7, along with Glenn Nelson, Simone Baldrini, Cooper Roundtree on row 8, Steph James, Sam Pizzetta on row 9. Sam Pizzetta stepping up from Supersports 300, having his debut here this weekend. But we're ready to go racing, Steve. There's the pole man, JJ Narlus on board bike number 20. Been putting in a solid off-season on the complete AV Alpine Stars machine, and looking to continue that momentum here as we get ready to go racing for the first time this weekend for Michelin Supersport. Race number 1. Michelin Supersport is go. Looks like a great start with JJ and also Ollie Simpson on board bike number 45 as they make their way down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Straight. Jack Mahaffey got away well as, on bike number 37 as well, and will slot into 4th place behind Tom Bramage as they make their way through turn 1. I think you'll find that Hayden Nelson has also got a cracking start right behind Mark Kyoto as they tip into turn 2. Kyoto runs a fraction wide, but it was the late apex. He comes back, trying to get the drive out of here and down towards turn 3, Stoner Corner.
Yeah, what a good start from all of those guys out there. Jack Mahaffey, he probably made the best of it. Didn't qualify as well as some of the other guys, but I'll tell you what, he's a racer and he's right up near the front at the moment. Tom Bramage up into 3rd position now, and Kyoto makes a move through too.
Yeah, no surprise to see Mark Kyoto hard and late on the brakes at turn 4 on board that very brightly coloured Alpine Star supported Honda as he makes his way out of Siberia, now glued to the ducktail of Tom Bramage. Look at this field, Michelin Supersport, a huge field here. We've got 26 riders in the field as they make their way out of Siberia and up towards the dauntingly fast Hayshed for the first time.
I think we've got a couple of riders that have perhaps come off. I think Snowsill may have been one of them, maybe Zach Johnson as well. So we'll keep an eye out for that, but there's a couple of riders that seem to have run off track at the back of the field there.
Down into turn 10 for the first time as they make their way out of turn 10 and through turn 11. This is the run that starts your top speed down the straight, Steve. Out of turn 11, good drive here. This is where a lot of the riders were saying that they can get out of there much faster with the extra grip that the circuit is offering with the newly resurfaced asphalt that's been laid down in preparation for this event. There's Archie McDonald on board bike number 69, getting the hippie shakes as he comes out of turn 12. Glenn Nelson about to try and take advantage, Hayden Nelson taking advantage of the slipstream. Glenn Nelson a little bit further back in the field in 14th position on board bike number 9.
Yeah, Jonathan Nalos, he's come a long way last year. I mean, he got a couple of podiums last year towards the end of the year, and he's really on an upward trend. Got his first pole position here this weekend, setting that fastest qualifying lap on his Yamaha. And you know what? He's building confidence lap by lap.
Down into turn 4 we go. Look at Kyoto. Exciting machine. He was late on the brakes. He was crossed up. He was sideways. He was up to second. He's now back to 4th. This is the sort of stuff we love from Marcus Kyoto. If he's there's going to be a slight chance that he can actually make a position, he's always going to take it.
But this is Mark Kyoto's weak point. He just doesn't wait. He forces things too much and invariably just risks a little bit too much. That was a big risk as we have a look at the replay. He tries to dive up the inside there. He's gone in hot. Makes it past Tom Bramich, but not quite. He had a bit of a go, but it probably wasn't there to be had that time round.
Well, I'm sure that Mark Gatto is going to have another go as they come down in towards turn 10, setting himself up. There goes crazy Jake Farnsworth down the inside on bike number 49, getting the better of Archie McDonald on the 69 machine. Stop and seal, riders having a good battle there. Looking back through the field, just trying to pick up where Corey Turner is, because we said about him before, multiple Australian sidecar champion. He's just inside the top 10 on board bike number 52, another one of the stop and seal machines. He's in that second group there. And you can see there's Farnsworth down the inside of Archie McDonald. Yeah,
nice move there, gets on the gas, using the grip of that new tyre. All of these guys at the moment have got an awesome amount of grip because of this new track surface. The thing is, in about 4 or 5 laps, these tyres are going to be sliding because new track surfaces invariably mean there's tyre wear. So although we're looking at this at the moment, it could completely turn around in a few laps when the tyres start to go off. Then we'll find out who set their bike up in practice.
Well, the other thing is the top 5 really have started to get away, so they've been pushing very hard over these laps. Will their tyres start to feel the pinch just a fraction earlier than what the group behind, led by Hayden Nelson on the BC Performance Kawasaki. I think he's just been overtaken by Jake Farnsworth at turn 4 there. So Farnsworth is now moving up into 6th position and the leader of that second group. Mahaffey, you can see him there on board bike number 37, back from an extended stint of a couple of years overseas racing, back in Australia and straight back on the pace on board bike number 37. Trying desperately now to hold on. Bramich has run wide on the entry into Lukey Heights, and Mark Kyoto makes the easiest overtake he's ever had.
There you go. That's all he needed to do. He just needed to wait, and you know, options present themselves. So Kyoto takes some breaths. He'll make his way forward from this. Every lap he does on that Honda, remember, it's quite new. You can just see it. Watch Tom Bramich, a little bit wide there. He tips it. As he bobbles, it looks like he's either touched the brake or the gear. Anyway, it's bobbled onto the way up over the hill. It's run wide. You can't keep on the gas there. If you try to lean over there, it's you're going to lose the front. So he had to run wide, and Kyoto just stuck to his line and made that inside move.
We're at about half race distance now. We're on lap 5 of the 10-lap race journey, and Nalos is still holding down a lead that's about out to 1 second over Mark Kyoto, who's on the charge. He set the fastest lap of the race, and his last lap was only a couple of tenths of a second slower than that fastest lap, as Ollie Simpson tries to utilise the slipstream now of the Apex Group Fairbird machine down the front straight. Has he been able to do it? No, Bramich just holds the throttle on a fraction longer and maintains that 3rd position as they make their way through Doohan Corner, turn 1. They're not losing sight of Mark Kyoto in front, so we've got a 3-bike battle here, and they're all trying to chase down our race leader, Jonathan Nalos, on board bike number 20. So the Yamaha leads from the Honda. Then we've got a few more Yamahas up to 7th position, held down by Archie McDonald, and then the first of our Kawasaki's is Hayden Nelson in 8th position. Luke Sanders is up to 9th, and Declan Van Rosmalen is rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff there by Jonathan Nalos as he went through last time through, did his fastest lap of the race with a 1:35.2, fastest man on track that time. So even though the others are trying to catch him, they're going to have to dig a little bit deeper because Nalos is in a league of his own at the moment, just knocking out those laps, very consistent. Looks like Tom Bramich has settled down.
But the good news is that Hayden was okay and he's ready to race. Today's Marcus Hammond goes down the inside using the sweet steering Honda, the Motor City entry, to take himself up 1 further position, and that will move him up to 7th position.
Archie McDonald didn't like that though because he's nipped back up the inside, but around the outside goes Declan Van Rosmalen. What a ride. Both of those guys out of the seat there.
Well, there wasn't much seat wear happening there because both of them, there was clear air between their backside and the seat as they made their way out of turn 2. They're pushing extremely hard. Oh no, there's another problem for Tom Bramich. I think he has got some sort of technical issue there because that's the second time in 2 laps where turn 4 has caught him out.
I feel it's something to do with his gear shifting because I think when he changed back gears before, it seemed to somehow locked the rear end. So I don't know, we'll find out more about that later. But the man out front at the moment, just impossible, incredible consistency. 35.1 fastest lap, 35.1 last time through.
Yeah, only 4 1,000ths of a second the difference in his lap times over those last 2 laps. And he's pulled that lead out now to 2.5 seconds over Mark Kyoto. Here's a replay. We will be able to see what happens to Tom Bramich as they come through here. You can see Tom there trying desperately to hold off Jack Mahaffey. And then as he comes down through the gears, I don't think he can get the bike stopped. It doesn't look like it's going back through the gears, and he runs off over the long lap penalty area at turn 4. You
can see there he was also going through the gearbox trying to get that gear. So I don't know, something going on there that they hadn't planned for, that's for sure.
So the times are starting to drop off a little bit now. 36.0 for Kyoto, 37.0 for Ollie Simpson, 36.0 for Jack Mahaffey. No troubles though for our race leader, 35.348 on the last lap. That's only 0.2 of a second off the fastest lap of the race. And we're on lap 9 now, so JJ Nalis put on an absolutely flawless display so far on board bike number 20. The complete AV machine is putting on a very, very complete performance here at Phillip Island. And great to see Mark Kyoto back into the Supersport category, Steve, and back up and looking to score his first podium in his return to the Michelin Supersport category.
Yeah, he's doing a great job out there on the Honda. The other guy I want to point out, not on screen at the moment, but Marcus Lamont, up to 6th position. This would have to be his first ASBK race on the 600. So I'll take my hat off to him. He's riding really good too.
He's riding incredibly well, and he's involved in a pretty tight battle now with Archie McDonald and Hayden Nelson also in that group. But impressed to see that man too, Jack Mahaffey on board bike number 37 back in Australia and having a strong ride in his return to Michelin Supersport as well. So Nalis will come round and get the last lap forward at the completion of this lap. Only 4.45 kilometres to go before he scores his first win. His previous best result in the Australian Supersport Championship was in fact here at Phillip Island at the penultimate round last year, where he scored 2nd place after qualifying in 4th. He went on to record another podium, as you mentioned before, Steve, at the Bend in the final race of the year. So he's come into this season with a whole lot of momentum, courtesy of those results. A strong performance in the St George Summer Night Series as well. Look at this battle with Marcus Hammond having to deal with a very, very keen Archie McDonald there on board bike number 69. But right behind them, there's several other riders that are waiting to pounce should one of these riders make any small mistake on this final lap. And one of the most experienced campaigners in the field, Scotty Nicholson on the pink machine at the back there, is one of those riders.
Yeah, he's been making his way through the pack. A good ride by Scott Nicholson. The start didn't work out so well for him, but he's on a forward charge at the moment. He's got a lot of places he can get in front of him if he can get there, but definitely running out of time.
Yeah, this has been a great ride from the reigning Stock Racing Road Supersport 300 champion from last year, Marcus Hammond, in his debut in the Michelin Supersport category. They make their way out of Siberia and head up towards the hay shed. It is Ollie Simpson trying desperately to hold off Mahaffey. This is for the last place on the podium, Steve. Mahaffey can sniff a podium in his return to Australia. And he's trying desperately now to get the stop and seal machine down the inside at turn 10. Can he get that podium off Ollie Simpson? Down he comes. No, he can't quite get it there. Ollie slams the door in his face. He's going to need to drive out of here. But no doubting the man that will take his first victory in the Michelin Supersport category. There he is, JJ Nalis. His dad Maurice will be jumping up and down in pit lane doing cartwheels as JJ comes to the line and takes his first win in the Michelin Supersport category. 2nd place will go to Mark Kyoto in his return after riding a superbike for many, many years. And the battle for 3rd place is going to go right down to the wire, Steve. And as they come across the line, it is very hard to pick. We'll have to wait for some confirmation of that one, but Mahaffey and Ollie Simpson, nothing between them. Archie McDonald and Marcus Hammond, nothing between them as well, as they disputed 6th and 7th position. What a race to start off the year. There's your confirmation of results. It is Jonathan Nalos taking the win by 4.5 seconds over Mark Kyoto and Ollie Simpson rounding out the podium.
Jack Mahaffey there with Jake Farnsworth in 5th, Archie McDonald in 6th, Marcus Ahmad, great ride by him, 7th in his first debut in the Australian Superbike Championship. Declan Van Rosemellen, he had a great ride coming through the pack. Scott Nicholson worked his way up through the pack too.
With Hayden Nelson rounding out the top 10 on the first of the Kawasaki's. Tom Bramage eventually finished in 11th position, taking championship points, which could be very important at the end of the year. Corey Turner in 12th place at the end of that race. Luke Sanders in 13th, Glenn Nelson in 14th, Corey Snowsell in 15th.
And I mean, our first time race winner, first time pole position. I mean, his lap consistency, Jonathan Nalos, that was impressive. You must be wrapped right now.
Yeah, over the moon. I mean, like I said on the grid, just lap by lap, corner by corner, I had to focus on myself and just consistency, reel them out one by one. And yeah, even my second last lap, I think, was a 35.0. So I'm so stoked.
Well, it's so good to see you up here. I love it when the young guys get their first win. Congratulations. Good luck for the next one. And yeah, I love seeing all this. And but we'll see 2 more races from these guys. So back to you.
Plenty more action coming up here from Phillip Island. Well, the sun is shining here at Phillip Island. We are getting ready for Michelin Supersport race number 2. The first encounter was absolutely unbelievable. We saw Jonathan Nalos take his first win in the Michelin Supersport category after qualifying on pole position and only fractionally off Senna Agis' outright lap record here at Phillip Island. So we're off to a great start for the 24th season. Here's your grid for the Michelin Supersport races. Jonathan Nalos, poleman, will start out of position number 1. He's already taken a race victory this weekend. Tom Bramage in second, and Ollie Simpson joins them on the front row of the grid in third. Second row of the grid will be Marcus Chiodo, Jack Mahaffey and Hayden Nelson. Jake Farnsworth, Declan Van Rosmelen, Corey Turner on row 3. Marcus Hammond, Archie McDonald, Corey Snowsell on row 4. Zach Johnson, Scott Nicholson and Jacob Hatch back on row 5 with Jack Favell, Luke Sanders and John Quinn on row 6. Brandon Demery, Brendan Wilson and Noel Mahon on row 7. Massive field of 26 riders, rounded out by Sam Pizzetta stepping up from the Supersport 300 as we get ready to go racing. And Supersport is go. Michelin Supersport gets off to a great start with Ollie Simpson taking the run down towards turn 1 in the lead on board bike number 45. Out of the slipstream comes one of the stop and seal machines. He's had Jack Mahaffey from the second row of the grid to slot up into second. Where's our poleman? There he is, JJ, trying to get up the inside of the Kawasaki, the fast starting Kawasaki of Hayden Nelson, and now slipped up into third position. But a great start there from Ollie Simpson. He will lead them out of turn 2 for the first time.
Yeah, good to see Ollie Simpson. Track conditions a lot hotter now than they were in the earlier race. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays into the hands of some of the different tyre manufacturers out there. Up the inside goes, I'm not sure which bike that was.
I think that might have been Archie because it was sideways.
Yeah, exactly. But Ollie Simpson with a great start. So Jonathan Nalos with work to do. He hasn't got that perfect start he got the first time out.
Well, I'm not sure if he just didn't get a good start or if everyone else got absolute cracking starts, because Ollie Simpson seemed to be absolutely lightning underneath the bridge, and he was ahead of them but not too long after they actually jumped off the line, remembering that he does start just fractionally behind JJ, and JJ's now up into second position, getting up the inside of Mahaffey on the run up through the hay shed and then towards the top of Fluky Heights. Jake Farnsworth also got off to a great start, Steve. You can see him sitting there in fourth position.
Yeah, Farnsworth is riding incredible at the moment. Declan Van Rosmelen as well is right up there. He just seems to be improving like lap after lap, not even race after race. He's getting closer to the front all the time, having a really good track. But yeah, what a start from Jack Mahaffey. I've got to say, starting from the second row of the grid, he certainly put himself up there, so good result for him.
Right, first lap complete, and a 41.292 for our now new race leader, Jonathan Nalos. He may have not got the best of starts, but come the end of the first lap, he's leading the field by a very small margin over Ollie Simpson. Mahaffey was holding down third place, but Farnsworth got the better of him down in towards turn 1. Farnsworth up to third, and looking to be just a little bit more crazy than normal in this race.
One man who absolutely missed a start, Tom Bramage, down there in the 11th position at the moment. So poor old Tom. Just not the day that he would have wanted to start off the new season, I would have thought.
Through turn 4 we go. Very tightly packed at the front, the first 4 riders. A little bit of a gap back to Hayden Nelson on the 279 machine. That's the Kawasaki ZX6 for the BC Performance team. Right behind him, the man you spoke about before, Steve, Declan Van Rosmelen on the Addicted Track Yamaha, fresh off that full summer season racing in the New Zealand Superbike Championship. Corey Turner is up to 7th place as well. That would have been him that was sideways down into turn 4 on the first lap, because it is the second of the stop and seal machines. Archie McDonald, his teammate, on another stop and seal bike right behind you, Nate. Jacob Hatch is up to 9th on the race DNA machine, and Corey Snosel on the Team BWR Yamaha R6 is up to 10th. There's a few riders in that group that haven't raced in this championship for many, many years, and they're all inside the top 10.
Declan just made a great move up the inside down the bottom of the hill too, so he's on a bit of a charge to go forward. But that's, you mentioned Corey Snosel. It's good to see him back in the championship, World Championship racing quite a few years ago in the Junior Superstock 600 class. Gave it up for 10 or so years, got his family, and he's taken it back up again, and he's got a smile on his face as he's enjoying his racing. So is this man here, as Ollie Simpson goes through on the number 20, but Jonathan Naylor's back on the brakes into turn 2. What a move that was. Yeah,
this is going to be a sensational year of racing between these two young men that have got a great pedigree. Ollie Simpson, we know he's been racing for many, many years, but JJ, a relative newcomer, only started out a couple of years ago in the Blue Crew Junior Cup, and then moved up straight away into a Supersport 300, and now he's taken to a 600 Supersport machine like a duck to water, and benefiting from a massive amount of help. Wayne Maxwell is working behind the scenes with a few of these riders in the championship. JJ Naylor and Marcus Hammond, two of those riders, and they're both benefiting from the experience of Wayne Maxwell to move their riding forward in leaps and bounds.
Well, 35.0 first lap through. The lap record hits by Harrison Voigt set last year was a 34.9, so that's a pretty decent first lap, 35.0.
There's a replay of the move from Ollie Simpson down into turn 1 to Doohan corner, and then straight away JJ comes back on the inside. The old under and over as they made their way through those two very, very fast corners. But it's JJ that still holds down the lead on board bike number 20. Ollie not letting him go as they come round through turn 12. Look at the gap that they've managed to pull over Jake Farnsworth. 35.074, the fastest lap of the race so far from JJ. Once again, Steve, knocking on the door of that lap record set by Senna Agis. A 35.048 fastest lap now for Ollie Simpson. They've just got to crack through into the 34s, and they will more than likely have that new lap record next to their name at the end of this race.
Well, they're on a pretty hot pace at the moment, these two guys, and Ollie Simpson blocks the way through for Naylor this time. So 35.048, there it is. Lap 3, fastest lap for this man. Looks like those hotter conditions are conducive to faster lap times. Let's see what it does to the tyre wear though.
Well, Simpson still leads, but only just over JJ Naylor. They are head to tail as they make their way up towards the hayshade. Look at Naylor's having a look up the inside there at Simpson as they made their way through the change of direction onto the left-hand side of the tyre. And Naylor's starting to get very, very squirrely as he comes down the hill. You can see he was leaving his braking there, Steve, to the absolute last minute. Now he's trying to concentrate on getting the drive. He's not going to be looking for the slipstream. He wants to drive out of turn 12 so that he can just take the better line and go up the inside, just like we saw Crew Halliday do in the Superbike races earlier on today. And there he goes on the inside, Ryan, but he can't get into the position to drive past. There he goes now around on the outside and goes past Simpson, and looking at still Farnsworth is holding down third position just over Jack Mahaffey. Van Rosmalen up into 5th position. Hayden Nelson rounds out your top 6. But fastest lap of the race so far, 35.048. The lap record, for your information, is at 34.979.
Well, if Ollie Simpson thought he was going to have an easy year, it's not going to be this one, because Jonathan Naylor just keeps getting quicker and quicker, meeting by meeting. I'm just so impressed with how he's riding this meeting in particular. Like, every lap is so consistent. Both of these guys are super consistent. But if you have a look back, Jake Farnsworth, he's also doing some pretty good laps out there at the moment. 35.5 for him, and his fastest lap, 35.4. So a lot of consistency by all the riders out there at the moment. Jack Mahaffey's moved back a spot into that 4th behind Farnsworth.
Remember back to the first race though, Steve, lap 9 was when Jonathan Naylor set his fastest lap. So look out for the pace to increase as we get further into this race. Time for an update from Chris Vermeulen in pit lane.
You're all over what I was going to say, Phil. It's like the tyres are going to get better in this race. I was talking both to Pirelli and Michelin. It is the Michelin Supersport Championship, as we know, and both those guys said with more temperature on the track, this race is going to suit these Supersport bikes better. And that lap time of 35.0, that's basically about 15th sort of fastest in Superbikes. So they're not hanging around. They're 400 cc's less, and they are moving very, very quick. So those two guys at the front, but the top half of this field is very, very impressive at the moment.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. And just looking at the tyres, or the results from the race, the first race, and the tyres, it was all of the riders that were setting their fastest laps It was Jack Mahaffey and also JJ Nall and also Scott Nicholson all setting their fastest lap of the race on the second last lap. Archie McDonald actually set his fastest lap on the last lap of the race, as did Corey Turner. So, yeah, certainly no problems with the tyres this weekend. One person that's not having as good a race too as they did race one, Mark Chiodo, second place in race number one, back in 14th position, and his lap times in the mid-36s.
Oh, while we weren't looking, Phil, that lap record has been smashed. Jonathan Naylor just done at 134.6. Eclipsing the old lap record by 0.3. What a lap by Jonathan Naylor. He's pulled the pin.
But that's almost half a second over what he did in race number one, where we thought it was unbelievable, and he's done that on lap 5 of this race, and consequently he's opened up just that little bit of a gap over Ollie Simpson on board the 45 machine as they come up towards the top of Lukey Heights now on lap 6.
Yeah, they've got a decent gap of about 3 seconds over the duo behind them now. So it's these two guys fighting it out for 1 and 2, and then the last two guys in that, Mahaffey and Farnsworth, of course, only one of them can get on the podium.
Well, the group behind doing mid-35s, that was previously the best lap in qualifying. But this weekend, they're blowing the time absolutely out of the water as they come onto the other straight to complete another lap. It is a 0.310 lead for our race leader, JJ Nalos. And Ollie Simpson's just done his fastest lap of the race at 34.896. That would have been a new lap record before the start of this race, but not after that last lap by JJ. Looking at the top speeds too, Steve, 263 on the fastest speed for JJ Nalos, 265 for Ollie Simpson. On that last lap, Nalos was down on top speed, but Simpson exactly the same.
Yeah, interesting facts and stats and slipstreaming effects, all of that sort of stuff. And I reckon these two guys, they're not falling back too far now from that front group. They're probably, a couple of tenths of a lap slower than the front guys. So, pretty impressive by the guys in third and fourth at the moment, Mahaffey and Farnsworth. And I've got to take my hat off to Marcus and Mod as well on the Honda in 5th place, having his first weekend on a 600 in 5th position. That bodes well for his future, doesn't it?
He was blown away by 7th position in race number 1. There he is on screen at the moment. The Motor City entry bike number 13, the blue and white bike, of course, still riding with a small fracture in his foot from a couple of weeks ago at Sydney Motorsport Park. But doing a great job here at Phillip Island in his Supersport racing debut, holding down 5th position, as you said, Steve, with a fastest lap of 35.655. His last lap was only a couple of tenths of a second off that fastest lap as well. As JJ comes out onto the start-finish straight. I spoke to his dad, Maurice, after race number 1. He was saying that he was a pretty proud dad. I reckon he's going to be just a little bit prouder after this one. We're now on lap 8. The gap is out to nudging 1 second. And here comes Farnsworth back down the inside of Mahaffey as well.
Oh,
These two
Farnsworth
having a great
wide.
battle. Farnsworth ran very wide there and just allowed Mahaffey to go straight back through. And has also got a bit of work to do now to close down that gap.
Yeah, he tried to dive up the inside there. It's easy to dive up the inside, but it's hard to hold it tight, and he's paid the price. There's 3 or 4 bike lengths now between those two guys, and Mahaffey, obviously a more experienced rider. Good move there. You can just see as they head down the straight, he's pulled out of the slipstream up the inside, quite shallow there. Probably didn't have to go that shallow, and has run wide. He's on the brakes, worried about running off the track. Mahaffey says thank you very much, and he just holds his line, and bang, there's an extra 3 or 4 bike lengths that he's made. But look at that gap that Nalis has got now.
Well, Nalis has just done another lap in the 34.7, so no one has done a faster lap than the last couple of laps by JJ Nalis, our race leader. A 34.682 to set the lap record, a 34.767 followed us up a couple of laps later. And remember, in race number 1, 9 laps in, sets the fastest lap of the race and a new, nudging on a new lap record in that race. What is he going to do in this one? Because he's opened up a gap now, pushing out towards 1.5 seconds over Ollie Simpson, who's still lapping in the low 34s. Oh, there's Scotty Nicholson off the track on board his machine.
That's out of turn 1, I reckon. Or maybe is that turn 2? Not sure what the issue is there, but it looks like he's got some sort of... I don't think he's just run off. I think he's got some sort of issue.
That's somewhere in sector 3, Steve, that he's come to grief.
Glenn Nelson's also run wide at turn 8 as well, so he's going to drop down a little bit.
So that's the rider on board bike number 9. So just a quick recap of your top 10 as we start lap 9. It is Narlos that leads by 1.7 seconds over Ollie Simpson. Jack Mahaffey third, Farnsworth. No, I think that's Declan Van Rosmalen. The Iagura replica helmet is the telling tale there as Van Rosmalen unfortunately now tumbles down the timing charts. So that will push Mahaffey into third, Farnsworth into fourth. Tom Bramage is now up to 5th position. Wow. A great recovery from Tom Bramage on the Apex Group Bear Bird machine, bike number 44. Marcus Hammond back to 6th position. Nelson, that's Hayden Nelson in 7th. Archie McDonald in 8th. Jacob Hatch in 9th. And Mark Kyoto's also surged forward.
Look, round the outside.
Oh, I think he might have been a bit of a touch there with bike number 279, Hayden Nelson on the BC Performance Kawasaki.
Yeah, he tried to go around the outside, but the handlebar touch, that never works. Down he went, and that was it. But look at the gap between these two now. Jonathan Nails, he looks like a professional.
Another 34.7 for JJ Narlson. That's 3 laps under the old lap record.
I reckon he's found 6th gear in this race. He's probably only using 5th in race 1, but he's found 6th. That's good.
The way he's riding, I think he's found 7th gear, Steve. Down we come onto the straight to get the last lap board now for our race leader. JJ Narlos comes across the line. That lead is going to be out to over 2.5 seconds by the time Ollie Simpson comes across the line. 2.571 seconds it is. Then a further 5.7 seconds back to Jack Mahaffey, who is on track for his first podium since his return from overseas in the Michelin Supersport category. Simpson, I think, now has just had to settle for a 2nd position. He realises there's no way he can catch up to the flying JJ Narlos at the front of this race. Farnsworth still sitting in 4th place. Marcus Amott has gone back up to 5th, swapping positions with Tom Bramage as well.
He's definitely not backing off, is he? Look at him go. Jonathan Nails, I mean, what a rise to fame he's had.
And his last lap was another one under the old lap record. I've lost count of the amount of laps that he's done under the old lap record in this race.
Yeah, not only that, quicker than qualifying. You think he's gotten here and he's gone, right, I'm going to go out with the light bike, with everything, I'm going to go as fast as I can. All he can do is a 35.0. Now, after a couple of extra laps, he's in the 34s every lap.
Well, that incident at turn 1 under investigation by a race direction. That was the incident involving Hayden Nelson and also Declan Van Rosmalen. But there's no incidents involving this rider here. He's through turn 10 for the final time. JJ Narlos on the complete AV Alpine Stars Anderson Stands machine. Well, it's been a complete performance from him so far over 2 races and qualifying. Qualified on pole position, took the race 1 win by 4.5 seconds, and he's now through turn 12 and he sets sail for the finish with a 3.5 second lead over Ollie Simpson to take his 2nd win of the weekend. He'd never been on pole before, he'd never won a race before, and now he's done it twice as he takes the checkered flag. Simpson crosses the line in 2nd position. Mahaffey takes his first podium in 3rd. Farnsworth takes 4th position, and Marcus Hammond's going to get 5th position. Look at this battle as they come to the line. Hammond goes across the line. You can see the excitement there from the Supersport 300 champion. Tom Bramage, what a recovery from him. He was back outside the top 10 early on in this race, Steve. He eventually gets through to take 6th position, and Hayden Nelson will finish in 7th. Archie McDonald in 8th. Corey Turner in 9th position, and Corey Snowstill rounds out the top 10. Well, congratulations to JJ Narlos, Ollie Simpson and Jack Mahaffey. They'll be making their way back to the podium area where they'll be speaking to Chris Vermeulen very, very shortly. Congratulations also to Jake Farnsworth, Marcus Hammond and Tom Bramage. They were great recoveries from them. 3.742 seconds, the eventual winning margin. Considering they were going nose to tail for most of the race, the last part of that race was unbelievable from JJ. Simpson takes 2nd, Mahaffey in 3rd. As we said, Farnsworth in 4th, Hammond in 5th, Tom Bramage in 6th, Hayden Nelson in 7th, Archie McDonald in 8th, Corey Turner 9th, and Corey Snowstill rounds out the top 10.
Jack Favell, good ride from him in 11th position. Jacob Hatch in 12th. Luke Sanders in 13th position getting points. Brendan Wilson and Brandon Demery round out the last point scoring positions. John Quinn, Zach Johnson and Scott Nicholson down there in 18th.
Yeah, Cooper Roundtree in 19th, Noel Mann in 20th, Mark Kyoto back to 21st. Must have been some problem for Mark Kyoto in that race. Simone Baldrini in 22nd, Steph James in 23rd, Sam Pizzetta in 24th, and then unfortunately Declan Van Rosmalen had some issues, crashed in turn 1, and Glenn Nelson had an issue just 1 lap earlier.
And the man of the moment, never been on pole position before, never had a race win. He's had pole and now 2nd race win. Jonathan That was really impressive. Your consistency to the end of the race, that really showed maturity. It was very impressive to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually got off to a bad start. I just went out too quick, caught me off guard. But yeah, so just had to make my way back up. But yeah, Ollie kept me on my toes for a bit for the first half of the race. Yeah, switching back and forth, I decided to follow him for a lap and see how he was. And then when I let go of him, I first 34, so I was stoked with that. Yeah, but my team, Rob from Wellspun, we've been working so hard to get this bike on rails, which it's absolutely beautiful at the moment. Yeah.
Fantastic, and you did remind me you are now the lap record holder of the Supersport 600 around here in Australian Championship, so congratulations and good luck. Another race tomorrow. I hope you can do it again.
Thank you.
There you go. That's our Michelin Supersport 600 podium. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Chris. Plenty more action coming up. We're only warming up here at Phillip Island. Supersport Race 3 up next. Riders making their way back to the grid now to get underway for Michelin Supersport race number 3, Steve. And that man there, Jonathan Nalos, qualified on pole, won race 1, won race 2 and set a new lap record. What can he do in race number 3? Well, we're about to find out because they're about to head off. He starts from pole position, JJ Nalos on board bike number 20, joined on the front row by so far this weekend the luckless Tom Bramage and Ollie Simpson.
Mark Kyoto there too with Jack Mahaffey back in the field. Hayden Nelson in the 6th spot on the 2nd row. Jake Farnsworth, Crazy Jake, starts row 3 with Declan Van Rosmellen. He's been riding good this weekend. And Corey Turner, welcome back.
The man that you were very impressed with yesterday, Marcus Hammond, starts out of position 10. Archie McDonald and Corey Snowsill back there on row 4 as well. Zach Johnson, Scott Nicholson and Jacob Hatch on row 5. Then we go back to row 6. Row 7, Brendan Demery back there. Then it's Brendan Wilson, the first of the Irish racing team riders, as we get ready to go race. Michelin Supersport is go. Good start from all of the riders on the front row of the grid, it looked like, as they make their way down. Straight into the slipstream of JJ Nalos and Ollie Simpson on board bike number 45, the Simpson Crash Machine. And as they go through turn 1, Tom Bramage has got a great start, Steve. He's up there in position number 3. Just looking to see who that is. I think Mark Kyoto's also got a great start after the dramas yesterday that saw him back as far as 15th as they went through turn 2 for the first time.
Yeah, real good start from Tom Bramage. He's made the most of it. Now, it was yesterday in these first couple of laps where he bobbled his way back. He got under control and was doing fast lap times at the start, or towards the end of the race. So if you can stay up there at the start, expect him to be strong at the end.
Yeah, Marcus Hammond's also got a great start on bike number 13, the Motor City entry. You can see him there with the blue and white bike and the orange wheels, sitting just behind the BC Performance machine of Hayden Nelson on board bike number 279 as they make their way out of Siberia for the first time. Oh, very tight line there. Bit of a different line for Crazy Jake Farnsworth on the 49 machine.
Yeah, definitely trying to find a way through there if you can, or get a different line to get some more drive on Tom Bramage as things settle down. Good to see Hayden Nelson on the Kawasaki up there as well in that 7th position on the 636 ZX Kawasaki this year.
Yeah, multiple Australian sidecar champion Corey Turner's also got off to a pretty good start in 9th position on board bike number 52, one of the many stop and seal machines in this field this weekend. Declan Van Rosmellen rounds out the top 10 with Corey Snowsill in 11th, Archie McDonald in 12th, and Scott Nicholson's got away well in 13th, Jack Favell and Jacob Hatch in 15th.
Van Rosmellen had a good run yesterday too. He's definitely showing a lot of speed, so good to see. As is Corey Snowsill making his comeback ride. I remember him on track about 10 years ago. He's had 10 years off. He's almost in the top 10 already.
Well, Ollie Simpson was temporarily in the lead there, but JJ Nalos goes back into the lead as they go through turn 1. Starting to pull out a couple of bike lengths lead over Jake Farnsworth, who's now up into a 3rd position. Then it's Jack Mahaffey. Tom Bramage has gone back to a 6th position on board the Apex Group Bear Bird machine, bike number 44. Just holding down that position, but under a fair amount of pressure. He's coming up the inside of Mark Kyoto down into turn 4. That is a late braking manoeuvre from Tom Bramage because Kyoto is one of the latest breakers in the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see. He needs to do that too. He needs to stay in this front group. We've got a faller there. That looks like Steph
James.
Yeah, Steph James has gone down, unfortunately. Saw her before the race, and she said she was having a lot of fun out there. She said it was hard, but she was having fun. Crash at turn 1. Looks
Not
like
fun.
she's not fun, but it looks like she's got away with that pretty lightly.
Oh, she was indicating there that she may have had some assistance
A little bit of
off the circuit as both JJ and Ollie slide it down into turn 10. You can see both of them just on the absolute limit of adhesion there as they made their way down the hill. Mahaffey putting on a great ride here, as he did in one of the races yesterday, and that's Corey Snowsill. I'm not sure whereabouts that is, Steve, but it looks like he's got some problems with the Team BWR machine.
Yeah, getting a bit of a push start there. Obviously can't get it going, unfortunately for him. So looks like that's the end of his weekend. Good to have him back in the class. So back out the front, though, Jonathan Nalis leads the way. And looks like Jake Farnsworth has found a little something too. He's right with those leading three. Tom Bramich just closing that gap back down. Now, the man of the weekend so far is the man leading the race. He rode impeccably in both races this weekend so far. An incredibly consistent ride, just couldn't put a foot wrong. Going to be interesting to see if Ollie can stay with him this time around.
Well, and also Jake Farnsworth too, who's done the fastest lap of the race so far on that first flying lap of 1:35.278. That's about half a second off the new lap record set yesterday by JJ Nalis on board bike number 20. But Ollie Simpson was also capable of doing many, many fast laps yesterday. And also Mark Chiodo, who was on the podium in race number 1 as well, on board the brand new Honda CBR 600 RR after stepping back from the Superbike class and getting back on a 600 machine, showed that he's lost nothing of his previous speed on the smaller but far more nimble machine.
Yeah, Ollie Simpson looking a lot more competitive this time than he did earlier on. He's able just to hang in there easier by the look of it. You can just see a bit of a bump there as Nalis changes direction there, the back moving around, but that bike is just glued to the ground on the drive out of the corners, and of course that gives them a good drive, more top speed as well.
Ollie's brought out the special helmet for race number 3 as well. That's the one with the big OJ on the back of it. The O is actually an orange, and it looks so much, well, so realistic. You look like you could squeeze it, and orange juice would come out of it as he goes into the lead. On board the Simpson crash machine, takes up running at the front. Nalos still in second. Farnsworth still sitting there in third, but under a fair amount of pressure now from Tom Bramich, who's looking to try and find a way past. Jacob Hatch on board bike number 96, the race DNA machine, unfortunately has been given a jump start penalty, and he's not actually having the best of days in this race because he's sitting back in 19th position now, so it hasn't worked for him, and that penalty will push him further back down the field. Down into turn 4 we go, Steve, but it is still just Ollie Simpson leading. But Chiodo is still there, Mahaffey is still there as well, Hayden Nelson is still there. There's about 1.9 seconds covers that top 7 riders as they make their way through turn 4, as we see a replay now of the overtaking manoeuvre of Ollie Simpson. Just utilised the slipstream to perfection down into turn 1.
Yeah, he certainly did. When he went into that next turn 2 there, he went a little bit hot. He lost the front, he lost the rear, managed to hold it all together. Maybe it flustered him a bit because now it's Nalos who leads the way again.
Chiodo having a look down the inside. Well, Chiodo was having a look down the inside of both of them, but it was Bramich that got the job done on Farnsworth, trying to make amends for a 2-race so far program this weekend that has just not worked well for Tom Bramich.
Well, Bramich was able to run these sort of times. In fact, he's just done his fastest lap of the race, the 35.0, which is equal to everybody out there. So Bramich on the pace at the moment, 35.7 for Farnsworth last time down. So he's the man struggling.
Well, also on the last lap, it was also the fastest lap of the race so far. JJ Nalis on the previous lap at 35.007. That was actually faster than his fastest lap in race number 1 as well. So he's been fast and he's been consistent. And remember, in race 1, he did the fastest lap of the race on lap 9 of the 10-race journey. So certainly no tyre wear issues for JJ Nalis so far this weekend in the racing.
Well, that seems to be his strength, is that he can just keep that pace up and he wears the field down. He literally can do those low 35s, 35.1, 35.0, and then one by one the rest of them can drop away. This is the closest contest we've had so far, halfway through the race. There's still a big bunch of guys that are in with a chance to win this one.
Well, a couple of these guys have been racing in the class now for a few years, but they're relatively inexperienced compared to the likes of Tom Bramich, who has had many, many starts in this field. Over 30 starts so far for Tom Bramich. When you look at it, this race is actually Ollie Simpson's 20th race start race 3 of the weekend. So Ollie Simpson at 10. JJ Narlis would be up to 12 now in his Supersport career.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie Simpson is a lot more experienced than that, though. When you look back at his career, he's raced in Europe, Red Bull Rookies Cup. The family left racing for a while. He's had another family that got the bug and got back into it, based out in South Australia. 3 brothers all here this weekend.
Yeah, when you say the family's got the bug, that's exactly right, isn't it?
Yeah.
All 3 of them this weekend. As Tom Bramich makes a bid for 2nd position at the end of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight, and he comes up trumps as well. So Bramich now up into position number 2. That puts Farnsworth back to 4th, and he looks like he's actually just struggling to maintain the pace now. Farnsworth of the leading group. Setting his fastest lap of the race wasn't enough to try and keep them in touch. The gap now is out to 1.5 seconds to our race leader.
That's because Jonathan Nile has just come through, done a 34.7.1 off the lap record.
So Simpson tries to utilise the slipstream once again as we start lap 9. Can't quite get down the inside of Tom Bramich as they make their way through turn 1 for the almost the last time. We've only got a couple of more laps to go in this race, so Simpson needs to try and position himself perfectly for that run to the start-finish line at the end. Oh, we've got one rider going down. Can't quite pick up who that was. Well, I couldn't see the number on that machine. Just trying to see who it is. Maybe it might have been... well, Corey Snowsill has crashed at turn 6 earlier on. Jacob Hatch is retired. It was Jack Mahaffey. I thought it was in that group of Hayden Nelson, Mark Kyoto, but it didn't look like Jack Mahaffey's leathers. That was what gave me a bit. Maybe it's changed the leathers for today.
Yeah, looks like he's up and walking away, unfortunately for him, but, you know, good to have him back, and you can see it's not been an easy weekend as Simpson goes through the Hayshed corner. That is a tricky move.
That is a Wayne Maxwell-type manoeuvre from Ollie Simpson there. Spring a surprise overtake where they're not expecting you to overtake. There's a very few people that can pull a manoeuvre like that off, and Ollie Simpson has just done it on Tom Bramich, who's probably now just got to recompose himself after seeing the yellow flash go straight up the inside at one of the most daunting corners on this Phillip Island circuit.
Well, it's all to play for now as they head into the final lap between these two guys.
Did you see Simpson's bike then? He pitched it into turn 12. It just started moving around as JJ Narlos will come down to get the last lap board. 4.45 kilometres to go for JJ as he comes across the start-finish line. Bramich tries to come down the inside of Simpson and does it with success.
Yeah, can he hold it though? We heard about the wind into that turn 1. He does. He's good into there. Around the outside, Simpson goes, sets himself up for an inside pass. Can't do it there. He's got to be thinking now into Honda corner. Bit wide there for Tom on the exit. Tucks in. It's going to be a move into turn 4.
Well, Simpson is right on his tail. He's in position to be able to put an out-braking manoeuvre on. We know Tom Bramich is good in here, and he goes to the shallow line so that there's no way up the inside for Ollie Simpson. Well, there's no way up the inside if he wants to maintain drive on the run out towards Siberia.
It's all about, now it's all about covering his line, and he knows that he's got to through the Hayshed corner, which is coming up. He's got to stay tight, because there's no way that Ollie can go around the outside. Nailless. No problems there.
No room for Simpson to come up the inside through the Hayshed on this occasion. It's only going to have to be a manoeuvre. Oh! Simpson nearly ran into the back of Bramich there as they came up to set themselves up for the run over Lukey Heights. Bramich is wide over Lukey Heights, which puts him in the middle of the track coming down the hill. No way up the inside for Simpson there as well. Only 2 more corners to go, Steve. In this battle for 2nd and 3rd position, it is Bramich looking for his first podium from the weekend. He's had 2 disappointing races so far. Simpson tries up the inside into turn 12. Bramich holds the high-wide line around the outside, Speedway style. Can he hold on to 2nd place? The slipstream advantage will now be with Simpson as Narlos takes the win. He's 3rd for the weekend. Bramich holds on for 2nd. Ollie Simpson takes 3rd, and Jake Farnsworth will score 4th. Marcus Hammond is coming across the line now. Where has he been able to make his way up to? It looks like 7th position. So Kyoto takes 5th. 6th for Hayden Nelson and 7th for Marcus Hammond. Another great result for the reigning Race and Road Supersport 300 champion. But no one, Steve, no one at all could get near that man this weekend. JJ Narlos, pole position, a new lap record, and 3 race wins. What a way to start off your 24 season. There is confirmation of your results. Narlos takes the win over Bramich by 2.4 seconds. Ollie Simpson rounds out the podium in the final race of the weekend. Farnsworth in 4th, Kyoto 5th, Hayden Nelson in 6th. Hammered another great ride to 7th. Declan Van Rosmalen did well again in 8th. Corey Turner inside the top 10 in his return to racing all weekend. A great result for him in position number 9. Jack McBell rounds out that top 10.
Archie McDonald there in 11th. 12th is Scott Nicholson. All the way down to that second row there. You can see the different. Luke Sanders as well in that 13th position. Glenn Nelson in 14th. Brendan Wilson back in 15th. Brandon Demery as well. So good to see.
Great racing from the Michelin Supersport category once again.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. Down here for the Michelin Australian Supersport 600 Championship, 3rd place. Ollie Simpson been on the podium all weekend, but not that win. But I mean, that was a great race to watch. Was it good to be in?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's always a good fight if you're fighting for the 2nd place or any podium spot in the last lap. It's how I like to ride. It's just how I like to race. But yeah, shame we didn't have the pace for Jonathan this weekend. He sort of outrode us all, but gives us something to work towards. Yeah, the bike's feeling amazing. I've just got a little issue with my leg. I think I've just got to work out for the next round, but that's fine. Gives us something to work for towards Sydney Motorsport, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, congratulations, mate. Great weekend. 2nd place overall too, so that's really good, Ollie. We'll see you in Sydney. Enjoy it. And the 2nd place man, he was 2nd place on the grid. He had a shocking weekend, Tom Bramich. He had some bike problems leading into this one. It looked like he was still having a bit of a shifting problem in that one, I've got to say, but great race. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I can't thank the Apex Yamaha team enough. We didn't nail it, but the boys didn't leave any stone unturned, and yeah, we better get some testing in and make sure that shifting problem's sorted, because yeah, I didn't have a quick shifter again then, and just like these boys are so fast, and it just makes life even harder. So I'm really happy to get out here with the podium, and I'd like to thank all my sponsors for making it happen.
Good on you, mate. Congratulations. Great to see you up here. We'll see you at Sydney Motorsport Park. Yes, and he did ride that bike. I could see him shifting, and it didn't look fantastic, but we've got our race winner here, the man of the weekend. What's this? 3 race wins, pole position lap record, race lap record. It doesn't get any better, Jonathan Nullis.
No, it couldn't have been a better weekend. The team and I are working real hard to get to where we are. I struggled off with that wind direction change. Took me a while to get used to it, and I guess that's something I need to work on, change what I need to do quicker. But yeah, it was a good race. Boys keeping me on my toes again, not making it easy. I'd just like to thank Yamaha YID and Alpine staff for all their support and help throughout last year and this year.
Impressive weekend. Congratulations, mate. Back to you guys.
Well, thanks very much, Chris. This is only the first round of the 7-round championship. Next round is Sydney Motorsport Park on the 22nd and 23rd of March. Then we journey north to Queensland Raceway on the 26th and 28th of April. We stay in Queensland for round 4 after a short summer break on the 12th to the 14th of July at Morgan Park Raceway. Then we return here to the spiritual home of Australian motorcycling, the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, for round 5 on the 7th to the 8th of September. One Raceway, the brand new venue at Goulburn in New South Wales, will be the scene for round 6 on the 4th to the 6th of October. And then we have the traditional end of season finale at the Bend in South Australia on the 8th to the 10th of November. That's the final round 7 of the championship. It's been a great weekend here at Phillip Island. No one can get near that man, and Josh Waters has also put on a great performance. But we'll see you next time out at Sydney Motorsport Park.